actually wanted to go ahead and do another video because I again received a lot of comments from the last video that I did, and basically there was actually one comment that in particular that I wanted to actually respond to, even though I did not approve the message to appear on my comment feed or whatever the case may be, you know, the part of the video where you go to leave your comments. And I think it's actually very significant, and I actually wanted to just kind of take time to really share it with you all, because I think it actually has a lot to do with character. You know, and it was actually, they were alluding to the fact, and like I say, of course I don't have the information in front of me here, but I'm going to just kind of paraphrase basically what the question was. They wanted to know how I remain calm when people talk about you and they're assassinating your character, you know, when they're just pretty much trying to paint you out to be, you know, trash, if you will. Or when you're actually under attack, when somebody is attacking you personally. Because they were saying, for the most part, and I'm not here to try to toot my own horn or anything like that. I'm not that type of way. I don't like to be the type of person that like to boast, but you know, they were saying they admired actually how I kind of stood my ground, but yet still got my point across without being disrespectful and remained classy in the process. And I really wasn't expecting anyone to leave a comment like that. I mean, like I said, there's a lot of people that left different comments or whatever the case may be. I would look at them and decide whether or not really, if I really wanted them to actually be, you know, approved so it can, you know, show up on my news, on my comment section. But with this one here, I want to kind of hold it personally. I want to kind of guard it, hold it close to me, because really to me that's like a very important question that deserves a very open and honest answer, which is the reason why I'm wanting to do this video. You know, excuse me, I'm on my way, you know, home from work and everything like that. You know, I just, you know, had to stop by and do a little bit of errand, whatever the case may be, but I'm on my way home. One of the main things that I actually try to do whenever I'm responding to anyone on YouTube, regardless of the situation that's at hand, regardless of the subject matter, regardless of anything, I always want to make sure that I put my best foot forward verbally. Because you got to understand, there's a lot of people that are out there waiting and watching and waiting to judge you. Not that I really care about what other folks has to say about me or, you know, anything regarding me personally, but it's just the general fact of when you're actually responding or making videos or whatever the case may be, what you always want to do is put your best foot forward, you know, and actually act like you got some common sense. Now, one of the things that I actually alluded to in my past video that I did was, again, the risks that we take when we make a video. Even if you're responding to a video, you're actually, again, making a video in response to someone else. So again, you're making a video. What you always want to do is never leave folks to question the type of person that you are. Folks actually say a lot of things, oh, I'm this, that, and the other, you know, and I'm the nicest person or whatever. And all of that is fine. But afterwards, folks are looking at your action. They want to see if what you're saying is aligning with what you're doing. And see, one of the main things that I try to constantly teach folks and tell folks, and like I say, I'm not all of that, you know, all-knowing person that knows everything, but like I say, I try to know a little something and pass on those little nuggets of wisdom to someone else so it can maybe help someone along the way. But what I always try to do is make sure that I actually want to guard my reputation. And one thing about it is that when you're dealing with people on YouTube, regardless of what their goal is, you cannot give them what they want. Like I say, now, it depends upon the situation. If, you know, you're having a civil, you know, conversation or whatever the case may be, of course, you're going to engage each other in a respectful manner, you know, not resorting to any type of disrespect, name calling and such like that. And even when you're in a disagreement, there's always a way for you to disagree with class. And see, one of the main things, I've been through all types of situations while I've, you know, posted videos here on YouTube. You know, like I say, you know, some of them kind of almost in a sense make me come out of character. You know, like I say, but in some of them, in past videos, maybe years ago, I actually did come out of character and act just as crazy as the rest of them. But the issue is that over time, I began to really understand and really try to, look deep within myself to say, okay, what type of image do I really want to portray, or did I want to give to folks that may want to listen to my video? So it took a lot of trial and error, a lot of soul searching, and I basically came up to with the fact that, regardless of what people give me, I'm going to turn around and still give them good. Like I say, it's easier said than done, and like I say, it's still a work in progress. But one of the main things I want folks to know that I'm still working on it. One thing that I will not allow, that I cannot allow, is for someone to push my emotional buttons. Out of everything that I go through, and you learn from things as you go through, when you allow someone to push your personal buttons, that lets you know that, okay, now you stepped out of that realm and now you're becoming what I would call ugly and childish. And basically, again, you have to understand however you act, folks are going to watch, folks are listening, folks are there to take notes. And one thing that I do believe in is consistency. You always want to make sure that you're consistent in everything that you do, regardless of the video that you make, regardless of the situation or the circumstances under which you're making the video. You always want to make sure that you always keep yourself in a humane manner, so, as to not, have anyone to take you out of your character. Because one thing about it, character is everything. Like I say, folks may not remember a lot about you, but they sure will remember the type of person that you are. And one thing that I always try to make sure that I do when when I'm being attacked personally or whatever the case may be, I always make sure that I respond not necessarily on how, the person critiqued me, but I'm going to respond in love. And see, one thing about it, again, some folks are not used to it because they're always used to being attacked by folks. And see, when you give them something different than what they're expecting, they're not going to know how to react. They really not. I mean, in some cases, they're going to turn around and shut up and move on about their way, which would be the typical, most favorable response. Or they may actually go in a little harder and try to look at other things and try to nitpick at other things and try to get an emotional rise out of you. But one of the main things that has worked for me, and I thank God that it has worked for me, is the fact that, I respond in love. And like I say, sometimes responding in love, I don't get the response, that I'm hoping for, which means they would back off and be quiet. They would keep going in even harder. And the thing about it, I thank God, because I even have a response to that. I just totally shut the situation down, turn around, and go the other way. Because one thing about it, everybody, as I stated in my last video, a lot of folks don't understand me. And like I say, and it's worth repeating, it's not to say that I'm actually better than anyone, and I'm not here to say that I'm better than anyone, because I put my pants on one leg at a time, and if you cut me, I'm going to bleed just like the next person. But one thing about it is that I try my best that whenever I respond to someone, I put my best foot forward and let them know where I'm coming from. Of course, in love, and I'm going to be direct and let you know that, hey, okay, I don't appreciate this, but again, I have a special way of saying that to let the other person know that, hey, you will not attack me, you will not demean me. You can demean yourself, but guess what? If I'm trying my best to help you or responding in love, I'm hoping that you will give me that same respect. If you don't, hey, I have to turn around and shake the dust off my feet, brush that stuff off my shoulders, and I got to keep it moving, because I will not allow anyone to push my emotional buttons. That's why I encourage a lot of people, who do videos, to really understand what you're really getting yourself into. You're doing more than just picking up a camera and talking to a camera and publishing, stuff. Because every time you do that, you're going to always have someone to sit there and say that you're not good enough. Oh, you could have did this the right way. You could have did that. Who do you think you are? And this, that, and the other, and all this other childish stuff. Like I say, I take it all in stride. I'm learning, and like I say, and I'm still learning how to overcome some things, because again, life is too short to sit up there and argue back and forth with someone over their opinion, over something that really does not matter. Because guess what? The next day is going to be a new day, and you're going to be on to something else, probably arguing with someone else over something stupid. That's why I've learned the art. Well, I can't say I'm still, in the student seat. We all are, because we're still living, but I'm learning every day, like I say, not to take things personally. I work in customer service, so it's important that I don't take things personally, because again, people sometimes respond to you because they respond to you harshly because they may be having a bad day, you know, and sometimes, you know, they just, you know, don't know how to express that. And I've learned that it's your job to pull that goodness out of them however which way you can, you know. But my thing about it again is if you just got some people that are just downright, just downhearted, just cold-hearted and just mean, just because that's just the type of person that they are and that their life sucks or whatever the case may be, I refuse to engage those type of people. I refuse. I have a choice, just like we all have a choice. I have a choice to sit there and engage them by doing tit for tat, going back and forth or whatever. And I do admit, I do have a guilty pleasure sometimes. If I don't have anything better to do with my time, if I have some free time, I'll sit up there and engage them just to see where their head is at. And then when they keep coming with that crazy stuff and I see that they're not going to really grow up and really respond like an adult, I just say, okay, you know what, I've had enough, you know, it was fun or whatever, but now I got to go ahead and go and move on to more adult things instead of going back and forth like children. It's a shame that we have a lot of people on that, you know, that use YouTube, but they still don't understand the art of effective, meaningful conversation. I mean, real talk. Because they feel that everything has to go their way. They feel that only their opinion matters and nobody else has any say in it whatsoever. And that if you do offer an opinion, it better align with their ideal and their beliefs. To go and say or do anything otherwise would make you an enemy. I laugh at those type of people. I really do. I get a good laugh out of it. Not for the sake of it actually being funny, like, ha ha, that's funny. I laugh because it's a shame that we still have people that are adults that behave that way. It's a sad reality that we're living in now, that again, that people can post videos and basically it doesn't matter what type of day they're having. If they're having a bad day, they're allowed to sit up there and spew their garbage and everything else and put it off on other people. But see, one thing about it, again, I used to be a victim of that. I used to always absorb other people's mess. And I'm learning here, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not doing that anymore. I can't do that. It took a while and it's a learned process, but I've learned that, okay, you know what? While they've dumped their garbage off on me, they're going to bed sleeping good at night while I'm having to sit there and deal with their issue. And I'm losing sleep. I can't do that. So the way that I respond, and you know, to go back to that original question, their original comment, that they admired how I handled, you know, the previous situation with the last two videos that I made. You know, I thank you for that. I'm not looking on the pat on the back, but the thing about it is that I try to lead by example. I try my best. Sometimes I fail because, again, I'm not perfect. And the thing about it is that I'm willing to admit that I fail at some things, because nobody knows or succeeds everything at the first go. It's just one of those things. But one of the things that I try to do is make sure that whatever I tell folks, I try my best to do it as well. Like I say, sometimes I fail, you know, so it's okay. I'm not going to beat myself over it, because again, it's a learned process. You know, I believe that our whole reason for living is to learn, to grow. That's our whole purpose. That's one of our main functions of being here, I believe. You know, but the thing about it again is that dealing with some folks on YouTube, they will teach you a lot about yourself. They will bring things out of you that you didn't even know that you had in you. Real talk. You know, some can be good and some can be not so good. Things that you felt that or thought that you got rid of a long time ago, you'll see that it was hidden, buried down. And if you deal with the right person, they'll somehow bring out that nastiness. And see, one thing about it again is that we all have things that we have to pray and ask God to remove from us. But some folks are comfortable with holding on and being a part of trash. Real talk. They are comfortable with being angry. They've accepted that as their normal outlook, and they're okay. And the thing about it is that they like being miserable as long as someone else can join them. And see, one thing about it again is that, you know, misery loves company. It does. Misery loves company, folks. Did you know that? But one thing about it again is that, you know, we all have bad days. But one thing about it is that and putting your best foot forward, you never want to actually respond to someone or do a video when you're very emotional. I understand the end thing now is to get views, and folks want to become partners with YouTube and make that little bit of money or whatever the case may be. I don't have time for that. That's why I have a job. Okay, YouTube is not my job. It's just a hobby. And the thing about it, some folks, they don't have really much else in life. The only thing they have is a keyboard, a computer screen, and a bunch of people who they call their intimate friend, that we call them AKA subscribers. And the thing about it, you say the wrong thing with them, they'll end up turning their back on you and end up talking and saying every evil thing against you as well. So the thing about it is that it's just, you really have to know and really be comfortable with yourself. Because the thing about it, if you're comfortable with yourself, you wouldn't actually have to go looking for companionship or looking for someone to be your friend in cyberspace. And like I say, everything that I'm saying in this video is in love. Like I say, I'm not calling out any names. I'm not doing any of that because, like I say, I don't believe in that. Like I say, anybody who thinks that they fit into that category, it is what it is. Like I say, folks may find fault with what I'm saying in this video. Hey, I'm used to that. And the thing about it, again, as I state with all my videos, I make no apologies for what I say. I'm not going to apologize. I think you all know that by now. But like I said, I just wanted to kind of just, give a few nuggets of wisdom. I wish this car would figure out what it wants to do. Are you gonna go or what? Dang. I'm trying to tell you, driving on this expressway is something else. I tried to tell you. But yeah, like I say, I just wanted to kind of just do this video because this was just something that I actually wanted to, just speak on the real, and I hope that someone will actually understand, where I'm coming from with this video, because like I say, it's easy to sit up there and exchange names and calling each other names and degrading each other like that. Like I say, I don't believe in that. To me, that's child's play. Okay, our job is to educate the young folks on how to conduct themselves as classy human beings so they can grow up to be productive young folks. Not to sit up there and watch two grown people go back and forth trying to figure out who can cut each other the lowest. I don't believe in that. Yeah, I have some words for some folks. Yes, I do. But the thing about it is that the God in me will not allow me to say it. And sometimes, even according to the Bible, if you think it, you're just as guilty as doing it. So, I had a lot that I had to go back and repent for, because like I say, sometimes people will try their best to bring something in you that you don't want to, they want to bring or get a rise out of you. But like I say, it's my job to shut them down to, the minute that they actually try, to let them know that, hey, I see what you're doing, but guess what? I love you. And I'm going to show you how much I love you. You're giving me your trash. I'm going to turn around and turn that trash into something that can be useful. So maybe you can learn from the error of your ways. And in doing that, maybe you'll learn, okay, hey, you know what? It doesn't really pay to be mean to folks. I don't know. It's just one of my things. But anyway, that's all that I have for you guys now in this edition. I'll actually, again, post some more videos very soon. Have a great day.